Hello guys, my name is Tony. Welcome to episode 4 of Trim My Reg. If you are just joining us, we are working on an E30 M3 coupe seats. In this video, we will be showing you how to fit the leather covers to their frames. In our last video, we stitched the leather covers together. So if you haven't done this yet, then check out that video. The link is in the description below. Now we'll start with the fitting of the back seat base first. It does not matter the order, just fit whatever you are comfortable with first. So we lay the foam base on the bench, and then we lay the cover on top with the underside facing upwards. Then we snip into the hollow tape so we are able to pass the wires through. We start first with the wires either side of the centre hump, then work our way outwards. These are the tools we use to secure the covers: a hog ring dispenser with their hog ring pliers. The dispenser acts as a staple cartridge, and you pluck out the hog rings with the pliers. The hog rings are a C-shaped copper wire with very sharp ends. You poke one end through the tape, hooking the rods in the cover. Then you push down into the recesses of the foam to hook over the rods in your seat, and then squeeze the hog ring to lock into position. So now you have attached all the hog rings on the top of the base. You now turn the cushion over and work from the underside. You now pass the long wires around the edge of your cover through the hollows you created earlier. Sometimes you may need to cut away some leather where the seams are to enable your wires to pass. The wires around the edge help in making the cover fit evenly all the way around. Carefully pulling over the sides and hog ringing them into position, constantly smoothing out any wrinkles and making sure your cover is sitting right. Once all your hog rings are in, then turn your seat over and check that your cover is fitted nicely. So now we are fitting the back seat back, following the same procedure as the fitting of the base. There are a couple of extra steps which we'll address later. So here we are installing the headrest bracket kits into the recess provided for them on the seat backrest. They simply push into position and are secured in place with two 10mm bolts. Here, you temporarily hog ring the cover in place where the headrest kit is, so you are able to mark out where the holes will go for the headrest stems. You can use a long screwdriver or a stiff wire to mark out the position for the headrest grommets to go. Once you have made your impression on the leather, simply push through the leather and cut a circle no bigger than a 20p piece in diameter. Now we push the black grommet through the cutout hole from the top and secure in place on the underside with the white female ring. So now that we have the headrest grommets in, all we're going to do now is hog ring around the edge, just as we did with the base. Using a gel pen, I'm going to mark out around where we want to place the seatbelt holder, making sure it's even on either side. So here I cut into the leather from the centre outwards to the four corners, and I cut off the excess. Once we have cut the excess away, we attach the flaps to the spikes in the seatbelt holder casing, making sure we do not overpull the leather, otherwise there will be gaps around the edge of the seatbelt holder when it's fitted. So then all we need to do is to fit the holder by lining up the four lugs at the back, and then just hammer home. So now to fit the headrest, take the foam headrest and make sure you have it the right way around for it to fit in. Then compress the foam so you are able to insert it into the headrest cover. Then massage your leather to fit the shape of the foam, which will decompress as you move the leather to the shape. So now we are going to glue the rigid strips of plastic that we took off the original cloth cover. We simply use a hot glue gun to attach these into position. And then insert the headrest stem mount into the foam. You will probably need to snip a bit more leather behind the stems so as to fit neatly once you have clipped the leather into the mount. Also to stop the leather becoming unclipped when the headrest is moved back and forth. So now, while we have the seat runners off the seats, it would be a shame not to clean them up. Firstly, using wire wool, rub them all over, removing any built-up rust. Then thoroughly brush them down, removing all dust. We are using Halford's Satin Black spray paint. Take your frames outside or anywhere airy and with controlled bursts spray all over lightly. Allow them to dry and go over one more time. With the pivot levers, rub these down and using a couple of pieces of wire, hang them up and spray them too. Now to fit the backrest for the front seat, you need to cut into the hollow tape on the underside so as to allow you to pass the wire through, carefully centralising it. Then hog ring into position. Once hog ringed into position, turn the cover over and using a light tack spray adhesive, carpet spray will do, spray around the edges of the seat cushion and the foam backing of the leather. Allow the glue to dry for a few minutes and then, keeping the cover taut, neatly fold over the sides and press down. Once glued down, also add several hog rings along the sides to secure in place. Now that you have secured the sides, your backrests are now ready for fitting to their frames. So now for fitting the front seat base rest, essentially the same procedure as the backrest, other than the knee support, which will fit first. To fit the knee support, take the foam and place into the leather and massage into position. Once in place, clip the plastic strips onto the frame. And then on each end, pull the leather sides taut and gauge where to make the holes so as to fasten the side tabs onto the frame spikes, making sure you do not over pull the leather so as to distort the shape of the knee roll. When you're happy it's correct, bend inwards the spikes so they won't catch anywhere later when handling the seats. And now essentially the same steps as the front backrest to complete the seat rest. So now you should have two complete front seat rests. This is the driver's side upright. It has one lever on the right side to enable the backrest to tilt forward to allow passengers to get into the back. The passenger seat has two side levers, allowing the driver to tilt the seat forward ready for passengers. Start by inserting the wire into the hollow. Now for fitting the leather to the bolsters. Here we are starting with the driver's side bolster by sliding over the shoulder and smoothing downwards to the bottom. Now once you are happy where it sits, you then hog ring through the leather, securing the wire and leather to the frame. Now turn the seat over and again smoothing out the sides, you pull taut the leather and gauge where to slit the leather to pull over the lever on the side, and then again gauge where to slit for pulling taut over the spikes. Now you have the seat in this position, take the opportunity to cut out the holes for the screws which will later secure seat upright to the base. And for the opposite side, follow the same steps. Only difference is there's no need to cut out a hole for any levers. Now to finish off the bolster, cut out around the lever. This will allow the plastic surround to fit on later. And now we follow the same steps for the opposite seat upright bolsters. And now for fitting the front seat base bolsters. Very similar to the upright backrest with just a few differences. Again, insert the wire into the hollow we created by folding the leather over when we were stitching. And just as with the upright when we started by pulling over the shoulder first, with the base, slide the leather over from the front of the bolster and smooth out towards the back, keeping the leather taut, and pull over the anchor points of the seat mechanism. The rest of the fitting of the bolster is exactly the same steps as when we fitted the upright backrest by hog ringing to the frame and pulling the leather taut over the spikes. Now that the leather has been spiked over, we cut out the 2 holes that will allow us later to fit the side skirting of the seats, which is only fitted on the right side of the driver's seat and the left of the passenger seat, basically the outside of each seat. And next we cut out the hole that will receive the pivot lever. Now for fitting the base seat cushion. First we need to attach the knee roll by sliding it onto its white plastic runners and then inserting the pin and then awkwardly attaching the circlip. Once you have attached the knee roll, turn the seat face up and temporarily attach the knee roll handle and adjust the support to its closed position. And then bring the seat cushion tight up against the knee roll and hold in place, and then turn the seat over to hog ring the cushion to the frame. Now for attaching the seat backrest cushion. Place the cushion in between the bolsters and then from the bottom of the back of the frame, secure the cover onto the frame using the rigid plastic strip you stitched on earlier. If you don't have one of these, you can still secure by using hog rings. And then, keeping the cushion taut, secure temporarily the top of the cushion onto a couple of spikes. While in this position, add a few hog rings in the centre of the backrest, securing cushion to the frame. Now, if you're happy how the cushion is fitted, use a long, thin, straight screwdriver or a length of wire to make an impression, marking out where you need to cut out the holes for the headrest grommets. When you have marked your holes out, punch through the centre using a pointed screwdriver and then with your scissors cut a circle in the centre no larger than a 20p piece. Otherwise this will spoil your seat cushion because the hole will be visible once the grommet is in place. Once you have made the holes, take the grommets and with the black top side one, the male, insert from the top through the hole and from the underside with the white ring, the female, push over the threaded part of the male. Now replace the cover onto the spikes and then fasten the rest of the top onto the remaining spikes and then just add a few more hog rings where you feel it needs be. Now to attach the runners to the base. Turn seat base upside down and place relevant runner onto base. The back and forth seat adjust handle is always on the left of the driver and on the right side on the passenger seat. Just line up the runners with the base and to attach, tap into position with the pins you took off in episode 1. Next, we need to attach the side mechanism. On the driver's side, you need to have the one with a handle, and on the left side of the seat there is no handle. To attach, you place over the centre pin and depress mechanism and twist around so both pins are poking through. Then close into position, then add circlip to secure, followed by tapping in the adjusting pin. Next, attach the pivot lever using a Torx 25 screw. and then attach the side skirting by placing over a pin on the underside of the frame. Slide it forward a touch and then insert a plastic clip to secure. It's further secured on when we tap on the knee roll handle after the skirting. To finish securing the mechanism to the frame using a 17mm bolt. On the opposite side, this will also attach the seat belt stalk. Now that we have both mechanisms on, we are ready to attach the seat upright onto the base. By slightly tilting forward and lining up to each mechanism, the backrest should slide down into position. We need to reattach the cables to the mechanisms that allow the backrest to be tilted forward. Place the end of the cable over the adjust pin and with a flat end screwdriver, lightly press the metal tab down and then position the white plastic guide. And now to firmly attach the upright to the base, we use 2 crosshead screws and secure one into each of the mechanism's upright arms through the upright frame. Now just tightening up the bolts and then replacing the mechanism covers to each side by securing them in place with a black plastic screw. Now the only thing left to do is to re-leather the back boards in the same colour leather to match the seats. Just to get the headrest off the table, I'll fit it in place. Usually I will leave this as the last act. Now to retrim the back boards. We usually do this in one piece of leather, so lay out your hide and place your back boards where you feel is right for you, and making sure you allow enough leather to cover the whole board, including the folding over the edges. From the outset of cutting out the whole interior, have in mind all the pieces you need to cut out and their sizes and where they will fit and sit when the interior is fitted. The underside, trim off or cut off some of the folded vinyl to allow your leather to stick directly to the board. Just sand it down all over very lightly, just to take off the shine and help your glue to adhere. Then dust off the board and line up the leather with the board, making sure that your leather will reach all over and the underside. Carefully fold over halfway and using contact adhesive, glue half of the concave part of the board. Also glue the relevant part of the leather. Allow a few minutes to dry and then carefully fold leather back over and smooth into shape of the board. So with the back boards in mind, I always leave soft parts of our hides and wrinkly parts to the end, because with the back boards we will glue down and iron out creases. Then fold over the other half and again glue into the concave part of the board and leather. Once you have the concave part of the board glued down, you can now secure all around. You can continue using contact adhesive or a light tack spray adhesive. I prefer to do this section with the spray. It's kinder and more forgiving. You can lift on or off and respray. Also, this is the convex part of the board. There is no tension on the leather. It will not lift from here. Once you have neatly glued all around and carefully ironed out the wrinkles and creases, neatly trim off the edges of the leather. And now glue down leather on the underside using contact adhesive. This adhesive can withstand very high temperatures and will not unstick. At this stage, take the opportunity to cut out the hole for the upright back lever and its surround. Finally, at the bottom of each side there are 2 holes for securing the board to the frame upright. Locate these and make a small hole on each side, ready for you to screw the board to the seat. Now to fit the board on, slide over the lever and raise the board a few inches higher than it needs to be, and press the board towards the front and downwards at the same time so that the 2 prongs slide into position on the frame. And then finally, at the base of the board, using a very thin pointed screwdriver, through the holes on the board, locate the holes on the frame and secure the board. To put the lever on, clip the surround on first and then push the handle on. Now to complete our job, we use a light spirit to clean off any excess glue and warm soapy water to remove any marking pen marks. So now guys, you should have a completed M3 interior fitted. If you have been following along, we hope you have enjoyed our episodes. If you would like to ask any questions, feel free to leave comments below. There will be more trimming videos to follow, and if you have any suggestions for what you would like to see, again, comments below. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to help us to grow our channel.